Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well today. Video number 1 of 2. We're going to get into all the latest and we've got quite a bit to get through. So this is going to be a good video number 1. Make sure to catch video number 2 earlier on today. In terms of the agenda of the Euros, we've got Turkey playing today, and that's going to be an interesting one because I feel like there's a few people that have Turkey down as a dark horse. We're going to see what they're going to be truly about. So looking forward to that. Tomorrow, England-Denmark preview. So make sure you guys are here for that. You're subscribed and you've got the notification bell on. Let's get cracking. And I have to start off with this, talking about the Euros. What a performance yesterday from one man. One man, and we know who this is. Our legend, N'Golo. This is what he's had to say. Thanks everyone, I'm delighted to be back. It's nice, I like to be with the national team. I loved it when the fans started chanting my name. Merci, thank you, he told TF1, as he did win man of the match. Only N'Golo Kante can basically leave international football, right? Then spend time in Saudi, right? And then come back and on day 1, levels above everyone. Only Kante. I miss this guy. And this is why I'm mentioning him, because he deserves it, man. I love N'Golo Kante. Everything about this guy is just his football, his antics, the way he carries himself, his character. What? If there was ever a 10 out of 10 footballer on the planet, it'd be N'Golo Kante. And not just in terms of like ability, but the whole package. Him as a person as well. He's just... You can't get someone this good and that humble. You just can't. It's never going to happen again, is it? It's just N'Golo Kante. What a legend. Big up N'Golo, man. We love you. We love you. We love you. So congrats to N'Golo Kante. Outstanding performance. And it goes to show 2 things. His hamstring is definitely fixed. And shame we didn't get that. And 2, the Saudi league is probably better than the French league, isn't it? As Cristiano once said. Probably is. Look at the levels he set. You'd think his level would have dropped. Not Kante. Not Kante. Anyway, let's see what happens here on out. Let's move to Chelsea matters. Now, we'll get into some of the sagas going on in terms of the transfer-related news, and then we'll jump into the calendar because the Premier League fixtures have been released. So let's get into this. Here's the latest from Simon Johnson, The Athletic. He's had a lot to say this morning, so here it is. Chelsea have been given the go-ahead to speak to Crystal Palace's Michael Olise. Now, with this happening, it means that the deal is coming into fruition because now the club have the permission to talk to the player from Crystal Palace. We're not looking to just trigger the release clause. We're looking to do more than that, which means that you do need to speak to Crystal Palace and they've given that permission, which means that the deal is so very much on. And now I'd expect things to be done quick. Let's move. It's not going to be an easy deal to get done in terms of how this deal is going to be structured. So we need to move. We need to move. One thing we know for sure, though, and it's no longer just a rumor, things are happening between Chelsea, Michael Olise and Crystal Palace. We are in motion. So don't allow any other club to come into the picture now. That's the key here. So we'll see. Apparently, this is going to be sorted very quickly. I hope we will be here to see exactly when it's all going to get across the line. Fingers crossed. So that's Michael Olise. Let me know your thoughts. The Athletic goes on, Simon Johnson goes on to mention other things in this article too, especially around a certain midfielder. Here's the latest on Andre Santos. This is interesting. Things can change quickly in the window. Last week, The Athletic reported Chelsea were planning to keep Andre Santos. That is still the case. But now the club are open to him going back to Strasbourg again on loan. Goes on to say Chelsea are now open to the possibility of loaning Andre Santos back to Strasbourg, where he spent the second half of last season. This was not the case before. The 20-year-old may take some convincing, though. Now, this is strictly on Chelsea. I have to make this clear. Listen, the dynamic has changed. This is a different situation. This is no longer going to be on, quote-unquote, the manager or now the head coach. It's not. If the club wants to make a decision, they'll just do it. And Maresca will not have any portion of blame on this. He's going to have exactly what's given to him, basically. So we have to set that straight from the beginning. One thing that it seems like will be the case, though, is that Maresca will have the chance to work with him at least for a little bit. Here it is. Simon Phillips saying, it's never been decided he is definitely staying. Maresca will take a look at him in pre-season, and it also depends on other midfield situations. So he does say Enzo Maresca to look at Andre Santos. Does this mean Conor Gallagher might stay? This is the question now. Because I don't see a world where we keep Gallagher and Santos in the same squad. I don't see it. With Lavia, with Enzo, with Caicedo, with Santos, with Gallagher. No, there's no chance. There's no chance. So, we'll wait and see. What I'd like to think, right, is Maresca gets to take a look at Santos in person, gets to work with him, gets to see exactly how he would use him. And then he makes a decision. I'm concerned that Chelsea will just go, depending on the Gallagher situation. If Gallagher stays, Santos goes on loan. If Gallagher doesn't stay, then we keep Santos. I think the club are looking at it from that perspective. But I don't think Gallagher stays. I still don't think Gallagher stays. If I'm being completely real, I just don't think so. We'll see how this one's going to shape up and how it's going to pan out. What do you think is going to happen? For me right now, it's very touch and go. We don't know. So what do you think will happen? Let me know down below. Much appreciated. The Athletic goes on to talk about a couple of other things. Here's the latest on Dominic Solanke. Chelsea have been put off making a move for Dominic Solanke, at least for the time being, because of a £65 million release clause in his contract. Listen, if there's ever one thing I am completely with the club on, it's this. I'm not paying £65 million for Solanke. For me, I'm sorry, he's not done enough to warrant that fee. You know, Solanke, fair enough, he's looking good at Bournemouth, but 65 million? Nah, come on, man. Have a day off. Have a day off. So if Chelsea are put off, I'm put off too. Simple as that. I'm put off. I don't want this. I think we can spend money much better than 65 million on Dominic Solanke. One of those players would be, I don't want to say this guy, because that applies to only one guy, and we know who. But this individual, Fabrizio saying Borussia Dortmund keep insisting on Serhou Guirassy deal as priority, even after decision to part ways with Terzic. BVB are pushing on player side with contract proposal and project presented, waiting for his green light. Release clause, 17.5 million euros. Euros. That's mental. Hang on, I need to convert this. 17.5, nah, get out of here. Get out of here. £14.7 million. That's a steal. That is a steal. You see, instead of spending 65 million on Solanke, I would rather spend 15 million on Guirassy, keep the change, top up anywhere else we need to top up, and wait for another season or two to see what the striker market is going to give us. Whilst we have Guirassy and we have Jackson, and hell, we might even have Duran. But Guirassy will be the main guy to carry us through, that can take the pressure of taking us through at the age of 28 and the goals we expect him to score. I think that would be better than relying on Nico Jackson or Duran to be the main guy at Chelsea and for such a low fee. I would be all over this deal. Now, Dortmund clearly won him. So Chelsea, we got to move quick. I think this is a no-brainer. Low cost, low risk, great stopgap. And we are optimistic of goals with Guirassy. We just are. And for anyone that's worried that he's going to go to AFCON, there is no AFCON for a very long time. AFCON 2025 was meant to take place next summer, but it's not happening. Because, and even if it was next summer, it'd be at the end of the season. So no problem there. But it's not happening there because of the Club World Cup. So he would be playing at the Club World Cup if he came to Chelsea. What would happen is he would be going off to AFCON in January 2026. So he would have a season and a half at Chelsea, which is basically the stopgap we kind of want to see what the striker market is going to give us and what Jackson and Duran comes to Chelsea is going to give us in terms of development up until then. I think it's perfect. I think it's perfect. So I would do it. I'd be all over this deal, man. Chelsea, look, if we got Guirassy, I'd be cool. And then we can focus on left back and we can focus on, as Matisse called him on All You Can Eat, and I laughed at this, California. Calafiori, basically, the Italian centre-back, left-back that we know has got the headband and people are getting hyped because he's got aura, right? He does look like an old-school defender. I'll give him that, right? But he is a good player, and I think we're going to see him this Euros. But we can focus on those sort of positions if we were to get Guirassy over the line. I think it would be a no-brainer. His wages and salary wouldn't be an issue too. He's on 35k a week. Triple it. Sorted. 100 up to 120k sorted for Guirassy. That would be almost quadrupling his current salary. Yeah? Yeah, almost. My maths are on point. 35 times 4 is 7 is 140. So just under. But that's a great deal for him. So I would be all over this deal. Let me know your thoughts down below. Now, there's more from Simon Johnson, and it gives us an indicator exactly of what Chelsea are looking to do. Here it is. Cole Palmer is expected to play more regularly inside in a number 10 role. What does this tell you? Michael Olise on the right-hand side. It's evident. But, question mark, we ain't going to be playing with 2 8s then, are we? We're going to be playing in a double pivot. Am I right? You can't play with 2 8s and a 10. Unless you're playing a midfield diamond 4-4-2. But then you've got no wingers. So it doesn't... You can't. It's impossible. You can play with 2 central midfielders and a 10 in front. But if you're playing with 1-6, you're playing with 2 8s. So, interesting. Or, you're playing with 2 8s and one of those is going to be Palmer and he has more license to maybe move forward whilst the other is more box to box. Right? So there's a little bit of a hybrid going on. That's the only other way. But then that would mean Lavia, Enzo, Caicedo can't play in the same team together. So there's going to be... Someone's missing out here. Someone's missing out. Those 4 names cannot coexist. Lavia, Enzo, Caicedo, and Palmer can't coexist. So what are we going to do? Interesting. Let me know your thoughts. It's going to be interesting to see how Maresca is going to deal with this one. Because we've got a lot of options. So we'll see. You could also stick Nkunku into that pile. Is Nkunku going to be on the left-hand side then? Maybe. We'll see. The fixture list has been revealed. And it's out. Let's go through Chelsea's first 5 fixtures. Here it is. We kick off at home to the champions, Manchester City, Pep Guardiola. We then go away to Wolves, home to Crystal Palace, away to Bournemouth, and away to West Ham. This isn't as easy as it looks on paper. Man City are Man City, Pep Guardiola the champions. I mean, you can't get harder than that. So we get to set the tone from the very beginning, right? Against the champions. We have the biggest test from the get-go. I'm all for that. It will show us exactly where our level is from day one. And it will show us what Enzo Maresca is about from day one. Is he going to stick to his principles? Is he not? Is he going to play conservative and then keep that like Poch, which was a mistake going forward after the Liverpool game? Or is he going to maybe adapt a little bit for Man City, be a little bit cautious, but keep his principle and then carry that forward into other games afterwards? So it's going to be a very interesting one to see what we're going to be up against. Manchester City, Pep Guardiola, master versus student. I mean, how old is Maresca, by the way? Maresca isn't exactly young, is he? Maresca is... he's 44. Pep Guardiola is 50... let's have a look. Pep Guardiola, 53. 9-year difference. Yeah. So he's already getting grey, 44 years old, grey, and bald means he's done a lot of thinking. So anyway, we're going to see what it's going to be like, master versus apprentice as it's being labelled. I'm sure there'll be a lot of marketing for that game. But Wolves afterwards, away, should be okay. But Crystal Palace won't be an easy game. Crystal Palace are moving very, very decent with Glasner as their manager. We'll see what happens going into the new season. Bournemouth won't be an easy game too. They've been looking decent towards the latter stage of last season. And West Ham's West Ham, London derby away from home won't be easy. But the fixtures to begin with are okay. I'd take this all day long. October, November is where it gets sticky. That's where it gets sticky for us. We got to play, if I'm not mistaken, Liverpool, Newcastle, Manchester United and Arsenal all at once. That's crazy. And that's before the Christmas period. And the Christmas period looks okay. I'm very cool with the Christmas period. We've got to play Fulham on Boxing Day. We've got all other teams, Ipswich, Everton, I think. Lovely Christmas period. But the test isn't there. The test is before that. So it'll set the tone going into January, October and November, basically, on what we do there against all those big teams at once. That could make or break our season, to be honest. So we'll see. But the opening day is this. Man United Fulham to kick off on the 16th of August. On the 17th, Ipswich versus Liverpool at Ipswich. Arsenal versus Wolves. Everton versus Brighton. Newcastle Southampton. Nottingham Forest Bournemouth. West Ham Aston Villa. The Claret and Blue derby. Brentford versus Palace. Chelsea versus Manchester City. And then Leicester versus Spurs. There's no big games here except Chelsea versus City to kick off the Premier League. So we'll see how it's all going to start. Going to be an interesting one. Let me know your thoughts on Chelsea's fixture list and how you see it all panning out. Do you like it? Do you not? Reservations? Are you happy? Let me know below. Much appreciated. Now to end, Kylian Mbappe suffered a very bad injury yesterday to his face. Broken nose he got yesterday against Austria in a game that was very lackluster, except for N'Golo Kante. But the tone of the game was just flat. It was like watching England. I'm surprised because this is France we're talking about. But Mbappe had a broken nose, right? Collision, I think it was the shoulder, right into Mbappe's nose and it took it off, right? Bleeding all over the gaff. Shirt basically went from white to red. And here's the latest on Mbappe. Kylian Mbappe is out of action for the match against the Netherlands on Friday. He will wear a mask for the rest of the competition. This is from Canal Plus in France, so I'm sure they've got an inside scoop, but you can see the damage there to his nose. It's completely gone left. Completely gone left. So Mbappe, yeah. I heard, and there's Julien Laurens also saying that he could be out for the entire group stage. So the next 2 games, and then from the knockout stage, he will be wearing a mask. We'll see. But that's not good news for France. Not good news for France. They should have the depth to be able to get by, but Mbappe out with this. The mask is going to be an interesting one for him to play. It's something you got to get used to. Have France been handicapped, basically? Have France been handicapped? They didn't look great yesterday, and now Mbappe's out. Are France in trouble? Or will they get by? Let me know your thoughts down below. Much appreciated. And I will see all of you later on for video number 2 as we get up with all the latest from now up until later. Make sure you guys are going to be here for that. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to be notified once I've uploaded. Don't forget, check out the socials in the description and on screen for you guys. And I will see all of you later on tonight and we'll see what happens from now till later. So see all of you then. Have a good one, people. Catch you later. Take care and peace.